All right. Good morning, Lisa. How are you?
Hey, I'm great, Sam. How are
All right.
you?
I am doing well. So I'm really excited to chat with you today. I know you've been chatting with Michelle in the office as well as myself about some different opportunities. You have a very impressive resume, so I'm really excited to chat with you. So why don't you kind of start by telling us a little bit about you and what you've been doing most recently for work?
Oh, well, most recently, I've actually been self-employed, so had started my own design and staging business.
Okay.
That wraps all the way around to growing up in a family with a design build and background. So that
Okay.
was a bit of following my father's legacy. And that's been, a great opportunity for me to learn, about my strengths and weaknesses. So I consider myself to be, an accomplished and compassionate creative professional.
Okay.
Um, I I really enjoy the design process, and I enjoy the way that our environment contributes to our success or lack of success. So I love the relationship between those factors. Um, I I guess describing myself. I would say the one central word, if I had to use a word throughout my career, it would be transformation.
Okay.
I really thrive in helping and in the improvement process for people, places, and processes. So that's really been woven throughout my career. I do have, a pretty impressive track record in plastic surgery, about 16 years in plastic surgery in several roles.
Great.
I love the people part of plastic surgery. That really allows me to, kind of summons that caregiver type in me. So I enjoyed, in my role in plastic surgery, I enjoyed the communication between, myself and others, both written and verbal. I love the kind of the educational aspect. Making sure that they were at the right place and thinking the right things and really well prepared for the process that they were getting ready to undergo.
Fantastic. And I see here when I'm looking at your resume, I mean, you've got some great, I mean, in that role, you were doing marketing, you were actually managing a practice, you were also managing, the patient care side of things, like on an administrative side. So you definitely have got some really great exposure. At this point in your career, I mean, this particular position is much more in administrative based versus management based. How do you feel about that at this point in your career? Because you really do bring a lot of management experience to the table as well.
Well, I really would I would, embrace obviously the administrative side of things, and of course with the opportunity perhaps to get more, face to face and take on more, um, I'd say responsibility as the needs of the company or the practice, as it were. So I realized that stepping back into something that I loved so much,
Yeah.
just brings me happiness to think about that. And honestly, I'm a team player, so whatever the needs of the practice or the company would be, I'm ready to kind of roll up my sleeves and get busy and help them succeed. So
What was the size of the practice that you were at?
we had about 7 employees, so it was a small practice. Now we produced that of practices 2 or 3 times our size, and I would attribute that to well, I will give myself a tiny pat on the back that I tried to employ um, professionals that gained my respect, that were, let's say, more seasoned. um, we had less entry level and more mid level
Okay.
staff, and so we all did a bit of multitasking, and we
Oh,
worked hard, and we loved what we did, and we worked well as a team. So
beautiful. Let's talk a little bit about the financial aspect in that role, because again, you've got just some really great experience and exposure. What was your day-to-day interaction with the practice's finances as far as budgets and revenue and things like that?
right, well, obviously on the marketing side, I had a marketing budget that would stretch throughout the year, so I was actively engaged in managing that. On the front office, the practice manager side, there was a daily reconciliation of, obviously, monies brought in, um, daily deposits, that type of thing. So running reports, looking at, the, the productivity of the practice in terms of revenues. So
Okay.
I wouldn't, in all honesty, I wouldn't call myself like I'm good with numbers and so forth, but the financial side of things is not my strength, I would
No,
say.
and that's okay. I just wanted to get an idea of what the exposure was to it, and even doing
Yes,
like the day reconciliation. I mean, it's fantastic because that would be very relevant to this role, is being able to button up the books at the end of the day, right, and get
right.
everything to
Well,
the accountant.
right. And kind of analyzing, what's going on for the practice, on a weekly and a monthly basis. Obviously, that was part of the
Okay,
role, that I had. So there was some analysis and making adjustments as needed.
fantastic. What computer software do you feel the most comfortable working with on a daily basis?
Computer software. Well, Microsoft Office Suite. I'm fairly good on most of that. As far as medical practice software, I've got a little bit of experience with Nextech. The practice did not use Nextech, but I got experience with that, and I know that that's what many practices are using at this point. So I
Okay.
feel like most of those programs they're fairly intuitive, and I wouldn't think that I would have much trouble, with those.
Absolutely. All right. Fantastic. Lisa, when, if you were offered a position, would you be able to start?
Right. So I do have some commitments, just family commitments and doctor commitments and project commitments that are, going to take up the next couple of weeks, but I
Yeah.
would be able to look at starting something fairly quick. And in fact, I've been, in a little bit of limbo and trying to kind of stay available, as needed in case the right thing were to cross my path. So I could
Okay.
take fairly immediate action. I don't have any, as you can see by my age, I don't have any young children that I have to,
Oh,
get in childcare or anything like that. I'm right here in downtown Central Florida, so I'm available and convenient to,
beautiful.
places here. So yeah,
All right, great. Well, I'm going
exciting.
to go ahead and stop the recording, and I'm going to chat with you a little bit more if that sounds
All
good.
right. Okay. Well, thank you.